Hello, Mustapha. Thank you very much for your time and good evening. The MPP
Good
held a
evening.
press conference today and says that the first 120 days of President Mahama is empty and just cosmetic.
Well, it will be in the eyes of MPP people because they never appreciated that they led a regime that collapsed our country. They are on the record to have led a planting for food and job program, which ended in them borrowing rice and maize from ECOWAS failed to pay. These are the same people who awarded over 2,000 mining leases, lazily failed to supervise, leading to degradation of our land. We are here to solve that problem. Now, even when the dollar is falling, the MPP is questioning why the dollar is falling, as if to say that they prefer that the CD should continue to fall and for the dollar to rise.
Call has been
that is
put
the
on hold.
mindset. It should be
Please wait.
business as usual. I've heard them say that the NDC have divided Ghana into two. One for President Mahama and his people, and the other for the people they think are in it. If for any reason, the leadership of Parliament, Penyo Markins and his friends, my brother Richard and his people, constitute the second class of Ghanaians, it's a just cause, because these are the very individuals who punish the people of Ghana, supervise broad day corruption in their government for 8 years. Under their regime, Ghanaian businessmen would have had to be worried that friends and cronies of their president would take over their business. But today, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama had to meet businessmen in Kwau, irrespective of their political inclination, to seek to develop businessmen and how to develop the country. They couldn't do that. In Kwau is President Akufo-Addo's enclave. They couldn't do that. President Akufo-Addo is an Akan. They know how cocoa, the benefit of cocoa to the Akan people. Under him, cocoa sector collapsed. The devil with scandal. We are trying to clean that. Within 120 days, National Service Secretariat under President Akufo-Addo was a crime scene. 54,000 ghost names every month. They squandered that money. Today, National Service allowances are being paid. And in fact, National Service is into farming. As we speak, National Health Insurance under President Akufo-Addo collapsed. Within 4 months, we have tried to pay all the claims and for National Health Insurance to become an institution again. Did Richard ever dream that within 4 months, their own free SHS, students will feed with a balanced diet and they are giving eggs, our own children. Under their regime, water was being served to our students as soup. Under President Akufo-Addo, their own initiative of free SHS. So indeed, we have seen quality as compared to substandard governance. Under President Akufo-Addo, you couldn't demonstrate in this country without a stray bullet, without hot water. But today, they have demonstrated, we protected them. In fact, we were even going to provide food for them if they had continued. But lazily, their demonstration lasted for 4 hours. Even that, their own minority leader had to assault a police officer. That is how lawless these guys are. So if they have the FNP today to complain, they constitute an enemy of this country. They don't love this country. They won't see development. They don't appreciate development because when we gave them 8 years, they couldn't see development. They couldn't develop. All they gave Ghanaians was hopelessness, corruption, nepotism, arrogance. Today, look at President Mahama, the gesture he even showed President Akufo-Addo. Under President Akufo-Addo's 8 years, all he knew was to be arrogant. He sees you in public, he won't greet you. He commands chiefs to get up and greet him. Today, President Mahama hugs him, loves him. He has shown MPP that after all, governance is not about Rambo-style behavior. It is not about arrogance. In fact, we can love ourselves to develop a country. So what are they talking about?
Mustapha,
What are they talking about?
At this same press conference, the charges that this government is not doing well when it comes to the fight against Galamsey, and they believe that the steps taken by the previous government to end Galamsey, if this government had continued with this fight, I'm sure by now would have raised somewhere in the fight against Galamsey. From where you sit, you think this government has fought Galamsey well?
We are fighting Galamsey reasonably because, you see, not every mining activity constitutes Galamsey. And so we will continue to promote mining. We'll continue to help those who are mining properly to mine whilst we fish out the bad nuts. We all do know that the cumulative degradation of our forest reserves, our water bodies, was supervised, incentivized, granted, approved by President Akufo-Addo and his Minister for Lands. With the involvement of his appointees in this same act, they issued over 2,000 mining leases. And we all know that when you issue mining leases, you have a responsibility through the Ministry of Land, Minerals Commission and EPA to ensure that you supervise the mining activity. They couldn't do that. And so if we have come, within 4 months, you have seen the aggression with which the military, the police, in fact, with national security, is combating mining-related crimes. What are they talking about? These are people who are, neck deep in the Galamsey activity. Their own minister, Professor Frimpong Boateng, indicted from the presidency to the last minister to have been involved. You see, so how could they have fought Galamsey? That was the reason many Ghanaians thought that they should have declared a state of emergency at the time, because they have completely lost the fight against Galamsey.
And the NDC then in opposition supported the call for the declaration, and yet we haven't seen that particular declaration.
Many people call for it. Today, look at the initiative. The Minister for Interior, through the IGP, is changing all the security agencies who have been in the mining areas for a very long time. Not because they have done anything wrong, but because of familiarization, so that we can ruthlessly fight this canker. Number 2, you've seen the activity of the military and the way they have confronted illegal mining in the last 1.5 months. So the systems to fight illegal mining are very active and potent, to the extent that you do not require a state of emergency under a government that is willing, a government that is capable, systems that are viable and potent to fight illegal mining.
So, Mustapha, are you saying that for now we do not need a state of emergency? We do not need it now.
We don't need it because we are fighting it.
But the previous administration also said they were fighting it.
They were involved in it. It led to the sacking of Professor Frimpong Boateng, who was a minister for environment. They seized 500 excavators that disappeared under their regime. In fact, persons within the Jubilee House under President Akufo-Addo were involved in Galamsey activity, and the evidence is that it was President Akufo-Addo who actually issued licenses with the help of his chairman and Wuntumi and Co. Chinese people mining in the forest reserves, 1 without reclamation, 2 without reforestating the place. They actually went into water bodies and mined because it was impossible to mine in the forest reserve without attacking our water bodies. If you really know mining, you will understand what I'm saying. They issued over 2,000 licenses under their regime, 8 years. And I'm saying, for any serious government, they would have been able to monitor, supervise the mining activities that was ongoing, and would have minimized the rate of degradation we see today. So we have come to inherit all of this, including their members within the MPP who are still mining, so that we can regularize the activity. Look, they came and told you and I that they were doing community mining. It was for their ministers to share. The Deputy Minister for Land, he was deeply involved in these illegal activities in his area. We all know that. You see? So when you have a committed government,
Mustapha, you have evidence that the former deputy minister was deeply involved in this?
Of course, yes. This is not the first time I'm saying it. I don't lie. I'm saying that President Akufo-Addo's appointees were deeply involved in illegal mining. I'm saying that on authority.
You know that for a fact.
Let them go to court and I'll take them to their sites. Let them go to court and I'll take them to their sites. They were deeply involved. They incentivized it and benefited it. The people behind Galamsey under President Akufo-Addo were not ordinary people. They were powerful who were involved. Professor Frimpong Boating have said it. Today,
Mustapha, your party is in power. You can't go after them if you have evidence and you know very well these people were involved in the acts because crime has no expiry date. You can equally go for them because your government is in power now. If in opposition, so you couldn't do that, but now
curbing the activities and protecting the ecosystem that is being endangered is the most important thing. And so we have water guards who, with the assistance of Navy and the military, are supposed to ensure that we don't have these chamfans on the water bodies. The military are on recovering the forest that President Akufo-Addo has issued to people to mine. When you finish, you will then have to go into investigating the ones who have mined at the various places and refuse to reclaim. Don't forget that under EPA, it constitutes a crime. And so if you ask that within 4 months, why are we not arresting them? You cannot do everything within 4 months. We could not have done more than we have done within 4 months. In any case, this is the first time a president has used less than 4 months to constitute a government. President Akufo-Addo used almost a year to constitute his government. President Mills, if you recall, it took him over 6 months to even sack DCs at the time. It took over a year for President Mahama #1 to constitute a government because we were in court. President Akufo-Addo did same. Today, within 3 months, ministers are in place, CEOs are in place, but the government is not fully constituted. And we know that. Why are they behaving as if there's a full government in place? They could not have done half of what His Excellency John Dramani Mahama have done.
Okay, Mustapha, sure.
Could not have achieved what we have achieved today because they never had the desire, they never had the will to develop and to assist the people of Ghana. It was about them and them only. It was about how they could enrich themselves, and that is exactly what they did.
Okay, Mustapha, thank you very much. Mustapha Gbande is Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. Let's go back to the other line and speak to Richard Ahiagba again, who's been holding on.